Hi everybody, I'm Luke Hector from the Broken Meeple. Remember, if you like what you see, you can thumb up the video, subscribe to the Patreon or the channel. Mainly, just leave a comment in the video to say what you think about the channel and the games in question I'm going to talk about today. So this is something a little bit different. Loads of other channels are talking about Kickstarters, and I figured, you know what? Probably about time I did. Some viewers have requested me to do this, and I thought, well, okay, well, how am I going to do this? I do the occasional preview video on the channel, but those are for trusted publishers. For the most part, I try to not I don't want to generate artificial hype for Kickstarters and that, because the whole concept of it is like as titled with the series, the fear of missing out, which is, oh, this is a really cool game. Oh, I should totally buy it then. Oh, is it £400 with all the extras? Oh, I should totally buy it. And that kind of irks me a little. That a lot of these like Kickstarter hype generation videos can mislead people to just buy stuff willy-nilly. So I figured, all right, you know what? Let's talk about a bunch of them. Now, there's a ton of Kickstarters that get done over time, so I'm not going to talk about every single one. And this will probably be a monthly basis that I do this video if, people like it. Obviously, this is a trial run, shall we say. But this is basically each month I look at a bunch of key Kickstarters that I've chosen specifically that I want to talk about, both positive and negative, and just give my thoughts on them while browsing what they have to show me, what they have to say, whether I'm thinking of backing it, why I'm not thinking of backing it, just a general browse, really. I didn't want to do it live. I did a vote and people voted for pre-recorded, which is probably a good thing because I think I prefer to do this pre-recorded. But it's kind of a similar format to the Dice Towers crowdfunding series, which I always like watching. But rather than having 4 people banter with each other and having a ton of Kickstarters, including the really tiny, really silly ones that I don't tend to do, I'm mainly focusing on the kind of like the big name ones, the ones that people are aware of, or maybe just a few little choice editions that I wanted to try out. So without further ado, why don't we kickstart with the first one? So Casual Game Insider. This is a board game magazine, 11th year apparently, raising £31,000. 3 days to go. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm recording this on the 23rd of July 2022. Probably want to know that. But this one is essentially a magazine for casual gamers. It does what it says on the tin, really. It can be done in PDF form, it can be done in normal form, and it just talks about, well, games, really. It gives articles on games, some reviews, etc. And it's been sponsored by a lot of different publishers. I mean, you can see Lucky Duck Games there for a kickoff, AEG, Czech Game Editions, even the Spiel des Jahres, Yellow. There's a little bit of Eggert Spiel there. So there's a ton of them, and they do claim there's a free game in every issue, although that's basically just a print and play thing, so it's nothing to get majorly sort of hyped up about. Costs you about, $10 is not bad for print upgrade. So what is it? $10 a year for a PDF digital subscription and $20 for a normal one. I mean, that's not bad, but how many magazines is it? And that's what concerns me, because magazines aren't the cheapest thing in the world. Casual Game Insider, where does it tell you how many magazines there are? That's what I would expect to find, because they're keeping that relatively secret. Yep, lots of endorsements. Can't argue with that, but one thing I will say about these magazines, though. Here we go. Annual subscription, 4 issues. This is only for 4 issues, this. I can't say it's like, you're getting a huge amount there, but I suppose why would you need the print version? Why not just get the digital version? For $10, it's a pretty cheap deal, so I can't really complain. But here's the thought. Who's reading these? Magazines, that is. Everything's on digital now. It's all digital, World Wide Web and everything. So who actually is getting a print magazine of anything these days? With one exception, I did used to subscribe to Good Food magazine, but then that's because I keep a binder of all the recipes. And cooking, I can understand. Yeah, maybe a cooking magazine. But do people read board game-specific magazines? I think Portal's got one on the go. I hear that's doing all right. But this is definitely, I think, for, as it says, Casual Game Insider. It's for casual gamers, I think. Yes, it's got some games that blatantly aren't casual. I'm just looking at this particular picture here, and Maglev Metro and smartphone mobile markets that are not casual games by any stretch of the imagination. But I guess this is for people who don't know a lot about games. But honestly, are there that many people who don't know that much about games who are actually aware that there is a magazine that exists where you can learn more about them? I don't know. It's not something I'm that fussed about backing, but I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Is this something that there's a bunch of comments here, but I don't know where they're just random people who read the magazine. I mean, this could have been written by anybody. But, you've got all these publishers here lending their comments, but then they are putting their stuff in the magazine, so what do you expect them to say? Not to be pessimistic, but come on. But yeah, I'd be curious. Is anybody out there reading this magazine? Do you want to say what it's like in the comments? Do you still read print magazines in general, or have you kind of like gone on to other things? But as I say, it's funded, it's doing pretty well, it does look high quality and professional, I'll give it that. I mean, it certainly is not like, oh, I just drafted it in 5 minutes. No, this is clearly taking some effort, and it's got some very nice pictures and imagery here. So, and the details on conventions would be useful, stuff like Origins, Gen Con, and Spiel. As I say, it's not for me, but I'm curious what other people would think. All right, let's move on to Titans. Oh, God blimey, yeah, 1.1 million. Jesus, this game is popular. And I know next to nothing about it apart from a playthrough I've watched. Yeah, literally, I didn't get involved on this. I think the previous Kickstarter for this passed me by. I just completely ignored it, wasn't too fast, forgot about it, and then it ended, and it's like, oh, right, okay. And, oh, it's not being sold in stores. Okay, so I'm never going to see this game ever. Okay, fine, I guess. I'll just wait and see what happens. Well, now it's back with Moonrakers Titans. This is 3 new expansions, a digital co-op game mode, which sounds pretty sweet, big box storage, and some exclusive holographic cards. Not that I care about holographic cards. Still got 20 days to go, though, so it's going to take a while before it finishes. I'm tempted to back this. I really am, because all I've seen about this is that this is a deck building and negotiation game. Okay, those are 2 genres I really enjoy. So this should be screaming out to me. It has 1 player on it, so it can be played solo if need be. 1 to 2 hours is an adequate time for a decent mid-weight game. I'm certainly down for that. But apart from that, I knew nothing about how this game worked mechanically until I watched the Dice Tower's recent Summer Spectacular playthrough. So I watched it in full, and I got a kind of gist of the game. I was kind of doing my work at the same time. It was while I was working from home. But this one, I'm intrigued. I'm tempted to get this one. Although what kind of worries me, hang on, let me play this in the background. Oh, nope, sorry, can't have your sound there. But what's intriguing me with this game, though, is the idea that, I mean, deck building and negotiations sounds cool. And when they were playing it, there was a lot of player interaction. You essentially like undertake like missions and projects, and they require certain color cards and certain color cards to be played. And you can basically negotiate with other players to help you out on these missions in exchange for points and credits. These expansions basically add more cards, a reputation track, which I've got to admit I'm actually quite interested to see more of, actually, because I think a faction track that interacts with other players, I think would be pretty sweet. The artwork is, I don't know, the artwork's good. I just don't know if I'm a fan of this style, but it does look colorful and very spacey. So I definitely am, like, I certainly do not think it's ugly by any means. I think it's just a stylistic approach that I need to get used to. But I don't care about the foils. That's a waste of time. That's not interest to me. But deck building and negotiation. And a lot of people say it's really good. I'm not hearing a lot of bad reviews for it. So maybe I should jump in on this one. But here's the thing that's worrying me. The cost. If I want to get everything for this, including the Titan box, which, let's face it, of course I do. I want big box storage. It's going to cost me £150, $179, and that is not including the shipping and VAT, bearing in mind Brexit screwed us over on that remark. So I'm looking at like probably £200 for this. That's a lot of money to be spending on this game, even with expansions. I mean, that is pretty pricey for what you're getting, because it is effectively a card game. That's kind of it, really. The components in this aren't exactly anything to scream about other than the cards. The cards are the main attraction. So if that's the case, is it really £200 worth? I'm not so sure. I mean, the box looks cool, but again, it's just mostly holding rows and decks of cards. At £200, this just seems very, very pricey. And I'm curious as to what is generating that money. There's expansions, yeah, but £200 is still quite a lot. But then some of these expansions I really like. Binding Ties and the Overload one. I want those. I want these expansions. I want to have as much content as I can. I kind of am a bit of a sucker for that, really. Now, let's see. Is there anybody I recognize from a small creator perspective who's doing this? I'm not sure actually, because most of the people doing preview videos are the ones that you always see doing Kickstarter videos. I'm trying to find some small creators, but nah. Although saying that, wait a minute, I know somebody who likes this game. Where's the rest of these testimonials? I know you're around here somewhere. I will show you off. Come on, show yourself. Show yourself. Board Game Perspective. I know for a fact that Board Game Perspective on YouTube, who I've done the top 10 with before, do really like this game. They have it. Where are they? Come on, here we go. Yeah, Moonrakers expansion. So these two love this game. They have told me about it like a fair amount of times before. I've checked out their previews. I mean, I'm very intrigued. Honestly, I'm very intrigued about this game. Not much else. Anybody else? Like Sarah Shar's done a 1-minute overview, so probably check that one out. Slicker Drips, Paul Grogan. I can't see anything from those. So all the other ones are just basically the same people as before. I have to see. But yeah, check out Board Game Perspective's video on this one. I'd certainly be interested to hear your thoughts. Have you played Moonrakers? Do you own it? Is this something you think I will like? Bearing in mind, that I love deck builders and I really like negotiation games. It really is looking like a possible pledge. And yes, I have pledged $1 so far, just so I could check out some of the comments in the pledge manager thing. But yeah, I mean, and that's $200. I'm not even including add-ons. I mean, it says neoprene mat storage here. Schmiegel van die precious. I love playmats. I love playmats. So part of me wants to get everything, but £200. I don't quite a lot. We shall see. Well, all right. Let's move on to the next one. So on the subject of moons, why don't we check out, Moon? Okay, not really a best of segue here. This is the next one from Sinister Fish Games, £267,000, 9 days to go, 5,000 backers. So it is doing pretty well, and it's had a bit of buzz. Well, buzz hype, to be more the correct word. But here's the thing: I've not played this yet. I probably ought to see if it's probably on Tabletop Simulator. I should probably give it a try on there. I haven't had a review copy of this one, so I haven't had a chance to try it. And a drafting game, fine. It sounds cool, but I mean, even for the price it's asking, £58 to get everything, including sleeves. These are some of the most expensive sleeves I've seen. Yes, they are custom backed, but you don't need custom backed sleeves when your cards have the backing already on it. That just seems like overkill. Pay £5 and get yourself enough Sleeve King sleeves to sleeve this and save yourself some bob. But yeah, £40 plus shipping, so you're talking about a £50 game. Is there really enough in here to consider this a £50 game? When games like, these are £50 and they have more stuff in them? Yeah, board games are getting a lot more expensive. It just has to be said. But 90 minutes, 1 to 5 players. It basically follows on from Villagers and Streets. Yes, it's its own game, but I'm not sure this is the thing to brag about here. Villagers is followed by Streets. Villagers is ranked in the top 1,000 games. Okay, that's half decent. Streets is in the top 3,000. That's not something you want to brag about. Being in the top 3,000 is not a good thing. Yes, the list goes up to like 10,000 plus, but still, if you're in the top 1,000, top 500 maybe, but top 3,000 I don't think is a bragging right. And also, to be honest, if you want to know my history with these games, I did own Villagers in the expansion for a little while, and I did enjoy it. I still think it's fine, but it has dropped a bit for me. It's dropped down from probably a 7 to a 6 out of 10. I'll play it, but I don't know, it got a little bit samey, a bit stale. The different characters that you drafted in that didn't really feel that much different, and it just got to a point where I'd rather pull out Seven Wonders and various other, and Sushi Go Party, and just a lot of other drafting games were a bit more interesting. Streets, I did try, and I think I did review it, but Streets I was very meh on, and that certainly has not had as much buzz as Villagers did, or even Moon at this rate. Streets was about building up, streets of buildings and putting these meeples around, and every time you connected up a full street, the meeples then conglomerated on like one or two, like usually just one area, got you some points, and then they went to the next thing. It was kind of weird. It was meant to stimulate fear of missing out, but I just didn't find it had that much thematic backing to it, and I certainly found it very clunky and very fiddly, and in some cases rather swingy. if you got the good side of one of those FOMO movements, you earned so many points. It was ridiculous. The streets just kind of went, nah, it exists, not that fast, and I got rid of it pretty quickly after. So, question is, will this one be better? I mean, it sounds better from a mechanical perspective. I don't like the fact that they've got this free expansion for every backer for like 10 quid extras. You feel like you're getting more value. The Valkyrie expansion is this really tiny addition. You could have thrown that into the base game as a variant, or just thrown it into the base game, frankly. I do not think you had to advertise that as a free expansion. But I mean, the game will be of decent quality, and I do like the Stark artwork. The whole idea of building up a space base is a cool theme. The trying to get popularity for your base and building up different buildings with the icons, sending your rover out to different places and different boards and using their buildings. It does sound cool. Doesn't look too difficult. Just don't know if I really want to spend £50 on this. I might just wait for it to come out on retail and maybe buy it direct from Sinister Fish when it releases. And I've seen a few more reviews. The stretch goals are just more cards. Not sure I'm desperate for that. Oh my god, here we go. Add-on, £18 for custom sleeves. Really? You gotta be kidding me. I mean, yes, they've got the backing on them, but the card already has the backing. I do not need to spend this much for printed sleeves. That is just overkill. Although, if you are getting this, you might want to consider the add-ons for the coin chest. It's gone up in price since the last time. I got my last one for £8. Now it's 15, but the coin chest is a pretty decent collection of wooden coins that you can use as an alternative that's cheaper to the iron clays, which I also own. But still, if you want a cheaper alternative to those, then the coin chest is worth grabbing, actually. It's got the how to play. The artwork is fine. It's nothing special, but I do like the stark contrast of the white background. Sarah Shar's done that one as well. Oh, Slicker Drips, Tom Heath. Okay. So he's done a playthrough and first impressions. So yeah, I think by all means check out Tom's videos on that one actually. I don't know. I don't tend to watch playthroughs that often, I must admit, but I'll make an exception for Tom and Paul Grogan. But first impressions, I'll definitely check that one out. Anybody else? Oh, Ninja Geek. Ah, yes, Ninja Geek Games have done one. Okay, yeah, by all means, check that one out as well. Hashtag support small creators. So yeah, I'm curious about this more than anything else. But this game is not jumping out at me, and a lot of that is just down to the reputation of the previous two games. Villagers got very samey, and Streets wasn't that great. So is this one really going to suddenly be like a top 250 wordy game? I don't know, but people are saying it's the best of the trilogy, so I guess I'll just wait and see. But yeah, I probably will wait and see. Well, if you thought that was too expensive, you're going to hate this next one. Burncycle. Oh, my word. Yeah, Chip Theory Games. And the weird thing is, only 288,000. I expected this to be like colossal amounts of money for the amount of hype that Chip Theory gets. But maybe it's just very expensive for a lot of people, or maybe it's just a bit more niche than I thought. But Burncycle, I have played. Paul Grogan showed me, and I can't remember who it was. I don't think it wasn't Tom Heath. Who was? I can't remember. It was some other guy. And we played a free-player game of this at Baycon. Baycon in Exeter back in April. I was curious about it. I'd heard about it, but that was about it. And I knew that Paul had received it, and I think Mark Dainty had also received it, Not Board Gaming. So I think that had basically gone, all right, it's piqued my interest. And then the person who was in the game with us described it as Invisible Ink, the board game. If you're not aware of what Invisible Ink is, it's a game by Client Entertainment who make Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together, a survival game that I love playing with mates sometimes. I have Invisible Ink. I've played about 5-6 levels of it. I put it down. I haven't picked it up since, not because the game is bad, it's just time. And the problem is, if I put something down for too long, I struggle to go back to it. It's kind of a thing with me. But the idea of this being similar to that caught my interest. It's Chip Theory Games, which means you're going to have poker chips everywhere and neoprene mats and this little pegboard and stuff. And I thought, oh my god, this is going to be a rules overload. Well, it's a co-op, so co-ops are a lot easier to learn if they are rules overloads because other people can help you do what you got to do. But yeah, you are basically infiltrating a corporation with these little robots. All the robots have got different power levels, abilities, unlocks, and all sorts of quirkiness. And The idea is that you basically have to complete missions while you're inside the corporation, but they have drones and other guards and stuff that are trying to knock you out. They can like push you out of their network. There's this little side. Let's see if I can find it. Probably not going to find as much on here because this is essentially a reprint and expansion thing. But I'll just bring back to this picture, unless they've got a video. Yes, they have. Yes, of course they've got a video. Oop, there we go. So, oh great. This is not what I need to see. I need to see gameplay. This is just, this is just showing. Yeah, this is, well, it's explaining stuff, I'm sure, but it's not showing the actual game and board. So we'll scrap that for a minute. Oh, we'll just go back to here. You've got this side network board where you're doing this little micro puzzle thing to try and hack into the network, kind of a la Netrunner style. That was it felt a little tacked on, but it was cool. It was a decent little puzzle, and it was another choice to make. But I really enjoyed this. I got into the theme. I thought it was very thematic. I thought it was well produced. It was a great little puzzle. Being a co-op, I think, made it fun as well. But I think, yeah, just the idea that everybody felt very different. I mean, the other guy was playing a kind of guy who demolishes walls, so he just kept crashing through walls. I forget what they're called, but Paul, I forget what Paul had. Paul had some weird floaty bot, as I was calling it. He basically sort of floated everywhere and did a few weird tech stuff and that. Every time he moved, he could slide in a direction. It was kind of odd, but that was cool. I chose a weird one. I chose I think it was either called Interceptor or I don't know, but I basically described it as the mouse bot from Star Wars. Those tiny little bots that squeak and run around the place that nobody cares about. Well, that's essentially what my guy was. He was this tiny little droid with like some antennae and like little radar dishes on him. And basically I couldn't move of my own accord without using special actions, and they're hard to come by. So every time I wanted to move, I had to basically hop on the back of other bots, because every time they moved, I got to follow them where they went. So I kind of like hung on to their shoulder, and that it was really funny. But yeah, I was constantly making noises that beep, 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 going around after I followed them. The advantage, though, was that I had very good tech abilities, tech repair skills, and I couldn't be detected by the opponent's bots, because they just look at me and go, insignificant. So they just ignore me. So it was just so cool to have a very unique bot. And there's so many in this game that, with the expansions as well, that I'm not going to be short on this. Do I want it, though? I don't know. I mean, you get the base game. They have released, what have they got? The Robophobia mini expansion, Renegades, which are new bots, Ebwall, which is new corporation. There's already a specialist bot pack in the base set. There's already a Bio Defend or whatever it is, Corp from the old one. There's a lot of content in this game. Do I really need all this content? Especially when you look at the featured pledge here. All gameplay bundle, $220. And flat rate is $25. Holy moly. This is a cool many or not levels of expensive. Now, this is who he was. Yeah, Paul was this guy. I'm sure some fans of the game will tell me which one this is. That was what Paul was playing. I think the other guy was playing the yellow dude. This seems like he was playing. It looks like a demolisher guy. I was playing this guy. There we go. He's not called Servo. Is it? Oh, Transmitter. That was it. Yeah. So yeah, he's just this tiny little bot who hangs around on like shoulders of other robots. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, each of these plays very differently, and it is cool having these. But that's a lot of money, and that's just for the gameplay bundle. You can get these brass minifigures here. Look at this, brass minifigures that you can put on the chips. It allows you to still see the information, and they do look fantastic. They're magnetic, but my word, they are $75 each pack, and there's 2 of them. Well, that is ridiculous. I don't see a reason why I would want it. New gameplay, I don't just want the base set, because, I mean, if I just get the base set, which is probably the more intelligent thing to do, it's $150 plus $25 already. It's only $70 more to get all of the expansions on top of that base set. Save $35. It seems like a no-brainer for me that if I'm going to join this, I'm going to get the all gameplay bundle. No way am I getting the all in, though. $460. Holy moly. No. And this is including like a bunch of accessories, though. And there's the other problem, because do Do I want some of these accessories? Although, to be fair, some of these accessories are pointless. I mean, extra action dice. Why don't you just put enough action dice in the game to begin with? You're charging $150 for this game. You think you could put enough action dice for every player to have their own? That just seems a little bit cheap, and especially as these are custom dice, but it's not like they're the most high-quality custom dice I've ever seen. Let's see. This Deluxe Law Recruitment Portfolio, $35. I think this is just literally, like, explaining the lore and the background. I do not need to spend $35 on that. Thank you very much. The bag, I can buy any orange bag from a fabric shop or something and get something a damn sight cheaper than $20. And even then, I can't remember what you draw from the bag. Apparently, do you actually need a bag that big? Just because it's got the brand name on it. However, oh dear, I am a sucker for a playmat. I do love a playmat, and I have seen this playmat up close. It is really good. I mean, you can, the grey side is naff. The orange side is relatively cool, but it's not so much the background, it's more the functionality of it. Because everything, look at it, you've got the sideboard, you've got your fretboard, you've got players around the playmat, but of course, I would just be, I mean, that's the only thing actually. I would only be playing this by myself. Possibly with 2 bots, mostly with 1 bot, I think. So I'm only going to be using this much of the playmat. Do I really need the playmat for something like that? Or could I just save $60 and do it? But that is a damn good mat. I do like this mat. Oh, yeah, and maybe I will convince some other people to play this game, even though it's going to take forever. Oh, I'm tempted. But yeah, I mean, that's $60. That's $220 for this gameplay bundle, and then $60. That's going to be $280, and then $305. Oh my god! I know I've sold a ton of games lately at recent conventions, but still, I was kind of hoping that money would go to something more than just a couple of Kickstarters, because my 2 favorite Kickstarters at the moment are this one and Moonrakers, and they cost an absolute bomb. Yeah. What am I going to do? Oh well, like I say, I'm very tempted. How long have I got to make a decision on this? I've got only 6 days left. I better get thinking fast. All right, well, let's see. Amun-Re. I'm not going to talk much about this one for the reason that I have already done a preview video of this. So, Dice Tower, love it. This is Alley Cat Games' reprint of the Rhino Knizia Classic from years ago. How long ago? 25 years, in fact, I suspect, actually. But yeah, 20th anniversary, so 20 years back. Cool Euro game where you're bidding for provinces, and you're bidding on these provinces to get them. They give you bonuses. You're doing area control, but mainly you want to get points and money from them. But halfway through the game, everybody's possession pieces come off, but all the developments stay. So in the second half of the game, you're bidding on lands that have been developed. It's a cool system, very easy rules. I feel like they're going to need to improve a little bit on the graphic design with some of the cards, but you can check out my video to understand more on that. There's mini expansions, $72.59 for the expanded edition with expansions and miniatures. I mean, that's not too bad a price to pay for a full box game, and there will be a plastic insert that fits everything. So, I mean, that's not bad. It's not a bad price, really, compared to paying $450 for the other one. But why don't you check out my video and find out? Yes, I've done a preview of this. I've given my opinions on it, because they allow me to give my opinions despite it being a Kickstarter video. But where is it? Where are they? They got the quote, but they must have the videos somewhere. Yeah, man. There we go. Rado, Sterashar, let's see. Board Game Ramblings have done it as well. I wonder how they're doing, actually. It's been a while since I've spoken to them. But yep, here we go. Here's my preview. So by all means, check out that video. It's on my channel. You should be able to find it easily enough, and you'll find out more information. And now I'm going to leave this one by. Aquamarine. Well, I can't really talk much about this one. Let me take a drink first. All right, let's see. There's only so much I can talk about this one because, it's literally, this is pretty much the page. It's essentially a print-and-play game, and you pretty much spend £4 and you get the print files. It's one of those campaigns. Yeah, there's quite a few of those going around now. And I get the idea. I mean, board games are getting expensive. If it is just a roll and write effectively, which this is, then you can basically just enjoy this and have it cheap, And if you're a fan of roll and writes, which granted I am not, I'm kind of done with this genre, you have a nice cheap game that you can play. Although I gotta admit, looks like a very interesting roll and write. This idea that you have to basically roll 2 dice, and you take a die and draw a rectangle for the amount of spaces that there are. But when you draw them, you're trying to circle around all these different, like, various things in the depths, and you'll get points and score, presumably. I don't know the full details, but you're effectively trying to surround these. But when you take the higher die, you start running out of air. If you take the small die, you don't explore very much, or you don't surround much. But then you can also, what's the other thing you can do? If you roll doubles, and what's it good? Here we go. Yeah, you cross off air. You continue with new each ones. Yeah, but if doubles are rolled, you draw a box 2 squares larger than the number rolled, and you can draw something other than the rectangle. So you can do some interesting little puzzles there. And Tom Heath has recently done a video of this, which I've not watched, mainly because I'd never heard of this game before. I literally collated a few Kickstarters for this video. So I'll check that out later, I guess. But I mean, I'm tempted to grab this. I mean, print and plays are a bit annoying, having to print it out and laminate it and do all that. But I've got the hardware to do it, so I can do it. £4, not a lot to spend. I mean, to be fair, what's this? Sketch.io Sketchpad, a free-to-use website where you can upload an image and draw over it. Oh, okay. I never thought you could do that. iPad and Notes app. Screw you. I don't use Apple. I use Android. Tell me if there's a thing like this on my Android. I'm not interested in iPads. Yeah, I mean, and another map too with sharks and stuff. You can play solo, obviously, because let's face it, every roll and write is basically a solo game. I mean, how many players does it even claim it had? Did it have a player count on there? Curious. 1 to 100, yeah, which literally just means you played it by yourself, and the number of players is completely irrelevant. But I don't know. I mean, it looks cool, and it is a different theme compared to a lot of roll and writes. I think this could be quite an interesting little puzzle. I'm tempted to back this. And wait a minute, Postmark Games. Oh yeah, they followed me on Instagram and then recently unfollowed me. I can't recall. I have to double check, but I don't know. I have to give this one a look and see. Aquamarine. All right. Well, I gotta admit, £15,000 is not bad. The crowdfunding fee for a game that costs £4. Speaking of roll and writes, Shoes Tactics. Paul Grogan has done some videos on this, so by all means check out his solo playthrough of this. This one I don't know a huge amount about the mechanics of it, but it's another one of those print ones. I mean, you can get a little print version and be a crossover hero in that, but pretty much I think perhaps it is all in PDF actually. Full campaign pledge. Yeah, I guess maybe it is all just print and play, but let's say you can get this one for $6, £5. Delivered in PDF, and you'll get future content. So it is another one of those print and play roll and writes. Again, if you love it, then by all means. This one's a tower defense game by the looks of it. So you're essentially defending yourself from invading forces. The artwork looks gorgeous. I do really like this. And I got to admit, this video, I have sort of briefly browsed through it already, is a really good video. Because there are so many Kickstarter videos that are cringy humor, which I really can't stand. I mean, shut up and sit down, case in point. And they also might have videos that just show artwork and nothing else. This video shows you how to play the game in a nutshell in 1 minute 20 seconds. Why can't more Kickstarter videos do this? Don't give me a whole page full of miniatures and expect me to trawl through it to find out how to play your game. Give me a nice little quick 1 minute video that I can watch with good animation, simple instructions, and it tells me what I'm supposed to be doing. So, what do I need? So you've got a preparation phase where you can choose some cards and some extra little abilities, and then you've got the ability to train soldiers. You crossed off this grid over here in order to get combo chains and defend yourself. I mean, it sounds pretty cool, and of course you've got a health bar that you got to be careful with. It looks cool, and as I say, it's really gorgeous artwork. I mean, look at that picture. It looks like something you'd expect out of something like Kaido. Like, it's got that very similar motif. Looks like Tom Slickerdrips has also done this. I think he owes me royalties at this point, but Gaming Rules has tried it. Yes, Paul Bogan has done a solo playthrough video of this. I think he's also going to be a hero in this game. He asked a bunch of us on Slack, what can we have for a special ability, and I think I suggested you should have traffic cakes and they should be a wild resource. Got a lot of positive viewpoints. I doubt they're going to be able to justify Gaffer Cakes in this setting, but it'd be funny if they did. But yeah, he's done a solo playthrough, so by all means, give it a watch. And obviously, Tom Heath has done one as well. Any other small creators? There's a few there. Let's look at it again. Madden Fanatic. Let's see, Rest in Reason. I don't recognize a few of these small creators. I'd be interested to hear in the comments if any of the creators that I'm browsing past are the small creators mind. I do focus on hashtag support small creators. So, yeah, by all means, let me know if there's any more like that. But I don't know, this is cool. In a world where games are getting stupidly expensive, maybe this is going to be a thing, to have a lot of these print and play games. I've got a laminator. I've got dry erase pens. I don't know. Maybe I should give it a look. We'll see. I certainly wouldn't mind. All right. Finally, to wrap up this video, Star Realms Realm of Empires. Right. Well, actually, hang on a minute. Rise of Empire. That's a spelling mistake. I think it's a little bit obscure on that one. Should that be Rise of the Empire, or Rise of an Empire, or Rise of the Empires, or Rise of Empires? The Rise of Empire just seems like a typo. It doesn't roll off the tongue right. But this is a Star Empire versus Trade Federation 13-game legacy campaign. 19 days to go, 275k, 3 new factions, upgrade cards, and apparently compatible with all Star Realm sets. So if you know my channel already, you will know that I absolutely love this game. This is a 9 out of 10 deck builder for me. 2-player or solo. I like playing mainly co-op, actually. I like playing those scenarios that you get in the later sets that allow you to sort of take yourself or multiple players up against a big adversary. I really enjoy those, but to be honest, I like playing this on the app on Android, and I like just playing this one-on-one against somebody who knows what they're doing, win or lose. It's a really great, fun, gorgeous-looking game. Why am I not so interested in this one, though? Well, firstly, I've got enough content for the game as it is. Secondly, this is not exactly the cheapest game in the world. I mean, yes, you can get this Nova collection box with all these other bits in there, but I don't use a lot of these add-ons in my Star Realms game. I don't even remember the last time I used some of these weird things like Lost Fleet or the Leaders and stuff like that. Mainly, the only stuff I really throw into my Star Realms, I mean, I've got the Star Realms lot, I've got Gambits, I've got the promo packs, Colony Wars, I've got Frontiers. I think Frontiers was the big box. Yeah, I think I got this box along with Frontiers in that. So maybe I'll have to check out some of the add-ons and see if there's anything I'm missing, but I think they're pretty good. But these command packs I like to use. So I mix in these different cards, or I use these sets separately for different ships, and I like having extra ships. But events and special rules and stuff like that, I don't even understand how they work on the app. They just appear, and I just let them do their thing. But the command packs are cool, where you have your own unique starting setup and like little mini deck. Those I love to use. They are really cool. I know Hero Realms did it first, but I prefer Star Realms to Hero Realms. I think Hero Realms focuses way too much on heavy-duty combat. And also, the sci-fi stuff is much more interesting than just generic fantasy. Game board looks interesting. Dials. It's not the cheapest, though, is it? I don't know. That's not too bad. What have we got here? $79, so £66, and you can get this legacy campaign as well as the stretch goals and a replay kit. That means that even though you use stickers and a bunch of cards, you can basically use a replay kit to play this game multiple times. Okay, cool. That's not a bad price for the game. But do I still even want to buy it? Because, well, here's the thing. It depends how easily I can throw these cards into the normal Star Realms. Are these new factions only compatible with this legacy game, in which case that might cause a problem? The blurb at the start said it was fully compatible, but is it really? That is the thing. The other thing is that this is primarily a 2-player game. It says 2 to 6 players, but you're pretty much playing this 2-player all the way through, and then after it's done, you have the means to play it with more players, like with the teams in that. I don't know if that fits well with me, and there's no small creators that I can see that have done this, so I can't really look at videos either. But I don't know. This Star Realms is a fantastic game, but I don't get 2 players to the table very often. So what am I going to do with a 2-player game that requires me to play 13 games in a row in legacy style? I can think of one friend who might be up for that, and I'd have to see him pretty often in order to get this out of the way. Do I want to really commit myself to a legacy campaign for 2-player only, but it's Star Realms. Star Realms is so cool. I really like it. And if I can use these cards with my normal Star Realms collection, I'd be tempted to do that just because more cards is cool. Or maybe if I can just find somebody who's a Star Realms fan near me, I would actually kind of enjoy doing this legacy aspect. I mean, I love doing this, like putting stickers on the cards and changing the ship and upgrading it over time. These scenarios sound really cool. I mean, it does sound like a great, fun experience. But 2-player only legacy, that's the problem. I don't know if I'm ever going to get it played because I can't play it solo. If I could have played this solo, I guarantee it, I would have already backed this project, like before I even started this video. But to know that I've got to find a second player, which is not easy because I live alone, that's the problem. No matter how much content they throw in here, but some of the add-ons, I think I've got pretty much everything for this game. I'll have to double check my collection because it's been a while since I've got it out and see what I'm missing, if anything. I'm not interested in any of their other games, so what am I going to do with this one? Is this worth it? Or should I just skip it and say, you know what, there's no fear of missing out on this one? But I don't know, am I missing out? That's why FOMO is a dangerous thing, especially when it's for a game that I already know I really like. And I can admit, that revised artwork for the Viper Scouts and Explorers are really, really nice. I mean, I would happily just replace my cards with that already. So I don't know, we'll have to see with this, but if you're a Star Realms fan and you have a second person to play with, then I think this is a no-brainer. You should definitely think about grabbing this one. I'm certainly still tempted, but we'll have to wait and see. Right. Oh, well, that was my musings on a bunch of Kickstarters. I think once a month is kind of fine for this, to do this like once now, some point in August, another in September. It is going to be very dependent on Kickstarters being out. I mean, these were the ones that caught my eye for now. We could get to August and the Kickstarters that are out are all garbage, in which case you'll just see me ranting on a bunch of Kickstarters I've never heard of. So, we'll play it by ear. This is probably going to be a longer episode compared to most because of setting it up and having a lot of Kickstarters to pick from at the moment, because July is basically hot Kickstarter season. Other months are a little bit less busy, but we'll just have to see. We'll play it by ear. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this something you want to see more often? Me talking about crowdfunding games and my thoughts on them? If so, then let me know in the comments and we'll keep this series going. I mean, once a month can't be too difficult for me to fit into the schedule. Can it? I've got plenty enough to do as it is. But that's it for me. I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple video. Remember, if you like what you see, please consider thumbing up the video, checking out the Patreon if you can, but also check out the small creators that I've highlighted. Tom Heath Sticker Trips, and check out Paul Grogan, because the guy does so much work. He is overworked for what he does, and I don't think he gets anywhere near enough recognition for what he does. So by all means, support Paul Grogan and check out his playthroughs, the ones I mentioned. But also check out some of the others like Ninja Geek Games for the Moon game that I mentioned, and Board Game Perspective for Moonrakers. I'll definitely be checking that out as well. So let's say hashtag support small creators, and hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, and remember, as always, it's only a game, whether it's retail or Kickstarter, expensive or cheap. Take care. Bye for now.